a big thank you to everybody, first of all, that's joining the webinar in terms of our speakers and presenters, but also people just dialing in. We appreciate you're all very busy people, and putting aside an hour of your time to be with us today is really appreciated. What we're going to do is, in terms of the schedule for this afternoon, or morning or evening, depending on where you are, is I'll give a brief overview in about 10 to 15 minutes of activity over the last year or year or so that iSMA has been kind of leading and contributing to for about 10-15 minutes. Then Karis, who's our treasurer, will talk you through the financial situation with iSMA. And then we'll move on to our speaker, Fabiola Kopasz from Hungary, who's going to speak for about 20 minutes. What we'll do is we'll take questions at the end of Fabiola's session to cover the whole AGM that we're going to present today. Please pop your comments into the chat bar. If for any reason you can't stay for the whole hour and you need to leave, we are recording this session and we'll be posting it on iSMA's YouTube site, and also a link from our website, along with a written annual report, which you'll be able to download and take a look at. If you have any questions having read those things or listened to a recording, you can send us an email via the link on the website, and we'll respond to any questions or comments that you have. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll share my screen and I'll talk you through highlights of the last year and some of the challenges that we face also. Hopefully you can all see the screen. Okay. Well, the first thing to say, obviously, is it's been an extremely challenging year for many people working in social marketing around the world for a whole variety of reasons, not least of which substantive, massive cuts to budgets around the world, which we know will directly affect people's lives, not just in terms of the people that were paid by those grants and aid, but more importantly, the people that they were serving. So yeah, we don't want to underplay the challenge that many of our colleagues have been facing over the last year. Sorry, just these are some of the dangers and challenges that I know you're all familiar with, but it's worth stating them, and it's quite a set of challenges and barriers to the application and embedding of social marketing into programs. However, given this challenging and dangerous kind of situation, there are some opportunities, and there are four that I would want to kind of point out, and things that we've been starting to work on at iSMA. There is an opportunity. People are looking around for new ways to do things, and effective and efficient ways to do things, as well as ethical ways to create social change for good. To that end, iSMA has been working on the development, dissemination, and application of good practice and ethical standards. We've actually produced over the last year and published for the first time ever a set of professional standards for our discipline, which I think is a huge milestone, and one that everybody that's been involved in that should be very proud of. We've also been promoting, as we've been doing for many years now, that social marketing is an integral, or should be an integral contributor to understanding and solving social health, environmental challenges. We published this year a manifesto for social marketing that addresses these issues about why social marketing should be embedded in all social programs. We've also been continuing our support for the development and representation from all regions of the world, and I'll say a little bit more about that further, because we want to recognize the fantastic social marketing work that goes on in every part of the world, and it maybe isn't as well recognized as it should be. And we've also been focusing on developing and disseminating the growing evidence base for social marketing, and principally through our new case study portal, which is up and live on the website. If you haven't had a chance to look at it yet, please do take a look. And also, please do submit your case studies to that database. It'll make it a really useful tool for social marketers globally. Trying to advance my slides, doesn't want to do that. Let's try again. Yeah. For those of you that are not aware, iSMA's mission is to capture and spread good practice and develop international standards that are supported by the field, and also foster support for local associations. We're a federated organization. We have a number of regional and single country and sub-country associations who affiliate with the International Association, and all of those organizations send representatives onto the board of iSMA. So we are really, committed to getting that global voice from all our affiliated associations around the globe. And this gives you an idea of the affiliated associations logo there. But there are also a large range of informal networks that are being developed around the world. And there's a couple I want to particularly mention that we've been assisting over the last year. First of all, the Pan-Asian Association and regional associations. We are hoping to kind of have a soft launch of this at the World Conference in Alicante in November, and probably a more formal launch at the next World Conference in Thailand. We've also been working in recent weeks and months with networks in the Gulf and Arabian Peninsula for the establishment of an Arabian Social Marketing Association. Again, we hope to have that live during the current year. Big thanks to the iSMA board, its committees and volunteers. And particularly I want to mention the iSMA Executive Committee, which consists of myself, Caris, and our Secretary, Angela Marcus. We have 9 subgroups working on a whole range of social marketing issues. We have a large number of, as I've said, affiliated association. Our members, without our members, we don't exist. So if you are a member of iSMA, we're really grateful for that. If you're not a member of iSMA, please join your local association. That gives you automatic membership of iSMA as well. And also the partner organizations that we work with. So this is the board last year. We've had some people rotating off and new people joining us, but all of these people are active contributors who give their guidance and time free of charge to iSMA, so that we can pursue the goals that we agree with our board and members each year. We have a large number of co-opted members who also take an active part in developing and delivering the work that iSMA carries forward. We are also kind of looking for additional volunteers. So if you're interested in working with us in any voluntary capacity, we'd be really interested to hear back from you. Okay. Yeah, this is just a list of the iSMA committees. I won't go through these. If you're interested in joining any of these committees or you'd like to make a contribution, again, contact us through the link on the website and we'll put you in touch with the chair of the group that you're interested in. So just to recap progress over the last year. So social marketing case studies database and portal I've already mentioned has actually now been developed and launched. The brand platform, which I'll show you a picture of in just a moment, has also been developed and published. We have further ethics guidance published this year, and there will be a combined workshop at the World Conference in November. We have a new and revamped newsletter, which is now going out monthly. We've updated the website. We're also really pleased that we're now starting to translate our statement documents into a range of different languages. That includes not just the manifesto, but also the social marketing principles documents. Best practice standards have also been published, which I've mentioned already. We've also been developing a pilot course accreditation scheme and field testing that. That field testing is now come to an end, and we hope to launch the scheme in November of this year. So if you want your course to be accredited, again, you can apply through this scheme to have it assessed. Social marketing course directory has also been published, and we've been putting a lot of support work into the world conferences and regional conferences as well. And as I've already mentioned, support for the new associations in Asia and Arabia. This is the social marketing brand platform I mentioned. Originally developed in 23, it's been refined a bit further this year, and it's a really useful, I found it personally very useful, guide to describing what social marketing is about and what iSMA is doing to support the dissemination and uptake of social marketing globally. You can take a look at this on the website. There's a copy of it in our statements page. And just to remind everybody, we were big supporters of the first African Social Marketing Conference that happened in South Africa over the last year. Also the World Conference, first social marketing conference in South America, Latin America, in Cali, Colombia, and Slovenia, the European Conference as well. Developments for the coming year. There's going to be further ethics checklist, practical checklists are published next year, or during the course of this year and next. The development of practice and academic forums and networks, putting those people that run academic and practice training programs together. Support for the World Social Marketing Conference, not just the one that's coming up in November, but also for the next conference, which is to be 2026. The launch of the course accreditation service, again, I've mentioned that already, that happens in November. More awareness raising about the importance and contribution of social marketing through social media presence and posts. Global collaboration to develop social marketing awards scheme. That will be a major piece of development work over the coming year, and work on the development of an open and free to access and free to use journal in social marketing and behavioural influence. Okay, so that's the kind of brief summary of the report from me this year. You can ask questions related to anything that I've mentioned there, or if you have suggestions, please pop those into the chat part of the webinar today, and we'll try and pick up as many as we can. If not, you can post them again on the website, and we'll certainly follow up with you if you have specific issues that you want to share. So if it's okay, what I'll do now is hand over to Karis, our treasurer, who will talk you through the finance stuff, which is really important for the association, because without the money we don't operate, and we're not in existence. So this is an important part of our annual reporting. Okay, Karis, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. Yeah, and hello everyone. And my job today is to briefly highlight the financial report for iSMA's 6-year income and expense ending in 2024. By the way, I'm located in New Orleans, Louisiana, in the United States, at Tulane University, just for a little quick, who am I? But can you move to the next slide for me, Jeff?
Yeah, there you go.
Great. So, first a quick note, is that ISMA uses a cash in and cash out accounting, so not accrual, if that makes sense to anyone. It means that we report income expense and expenses when the funds actually are received or spent. On the income side, if you take a look there on that part of this table, you can see that our primary source of income is a 10% share of regional association membership fees. And in general, as Jeff had mentioned earlier, we do not collect fees or dues directly from most members. They sign up via regional associations and then are also granted ISMA membership. And so while income from the online courses also looks very significant, it's important to note that we are also covering the related instructional expenses to that income. So our net revenue from these is pretty modest in actuality. If you look over to the expense side of things, the majority of our spending goes to things like database and website maintenance, meeting and webinar costs, also platform fees to distribute our newsletters that Jeff mentioned, and then expenses obviously related to the online courses. So the bottom line is what you can see in a sense is that we're not really operating at a profit. And while our account balances in these 6 years have remained above critical thresholds, we still have to be cautious. It's really important that we maintain a minimum reserve of $10,000 at any point in time to ensure our financial stability. So with that said, we have work ahead this year and in the coming years to stabilize our financial standing and ensure that we can really be sustainable moving forward. So that's my quickie on the financials. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me about any of this. Thank you. And I'll pass it back over to Jeff.
Thanks so much, Karis. And I just want to say, often the treasurer's role is not a very glamorous one, to say the least. And finding somebody who's as competent and committed as Karis is we're extremely fortunate to have Karis in position. And big thanks to you for all the work that you do on keeping us solvent and making sure we don't go below that critical threshold that you mentioned. So thank so much. Okay, it's now my great pleasure to introduce our speaker. Every year we invite somebody to come and speak to us about some aspect or issue that's related very closely to it. And we're very fortunate today to have Fabiola Kopasz speaking to us from Hungary. We've never had anybody from Hungary speak at one of our AGMs before. And so it's going to be interesting to kind of see the context in which Fabiola is talking about social impact branding and social marketing. I won't go through Fabiola's bio. You could see that on the sign up page for this webinar. But just briefly to say that she's a marketing and communication specialist and ECG expert. She's currently responsible for internal communication, content and related projects at forgive me if I mispronounce it, Fabiola, the Nor-Bremzi rail system in Budapest. So thank you so much for speaking to us today around the issue of social impact branding and social marketing. And I'll pass you over to Fabiola now.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the invitation. And yeah, this is the Knorr-Bremse Railway Systems. So today I work for a German company here in Budapest, and will come from Budapest. And I have to share my screen, yeah. So that's as we discussed. Just a second, and I hope that you will see my presentation. Can you see?
Not yet.
Yeah, no.
Not yet. Just a second. Why?
Okay.
Sorry. Share the screen, entire screen. I have to, yeah, present. Just a second. I don't know why.
There we go. If we can't get that up, I do have a copy of your presentation that I can share on my end, but it does look like it's just activating for you now. So I think we'll be in good.
Yeah, but right now I am sharing and you can see, yeah?
Yeah, at the moment we are in one of your, I think it's a Chrome browser window at the moment, rather than.
Okay, thank you so much then for your
All
support.
right.
I will start, and afterwards, if you can support me, I'm grateful.
That's cool. I'll pop the slides up for you, and I'll keep them running here. And then if you give me a nudge, if I'm going out of sync with where you'd like to be at that stage, we'll go from there. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Perfect. Okie dokie. All right, audience, if you bear with me 2 seconds while I play the slides.
Okay, so for just we are waiting. So the main aim of my presentation to convince and inspire you that the gap between marketing for profit and marketing for social good can be narrow. In the case of purpose-driven companies, due to the sustainability expectation, and thank you so much. The expectation and pressure from stakeholders. I hope that by the end of the presentation, you will see how can we apply the social marketing to branding and how to build the brand with social value. So first of all, here you can see in the right now that I would like to raise your awareness that we have to distinguish between sustainable brands and sustainable operations. The sustainable operation means to transfer the whole business fully aligned with the real and potential environmental and social issues and impacts. These impacts could be negative and positive as well. Sustainable brands today, as how can we see, and maybe not in all countries the statement is correct, but is often not yet aligned with the corporate sustainability. So the operation and the brands today not aligned to each other in 100%. And profitability forces the unified story about the company and brand messages. So in the long term, the operations and the brand's messages can be aligned. On the right side of the slide, you can see Fashion Week poster and an embedded video, but right now I think I'm afraid we can see this video, but if you're interested, I suggest you to see it. YouTube on YouTube is available. So the Atacama Desert has become a global garbage dump of the used fast fashion. And today, Chile is the third largest importer of second-hand clothes in the world. And some of these clothes are resold in second-hand markets, but at least 40,000 tons ends up being illegally dumped in the Atacama Desert. So, and some designers and activists organized an event to raise awareness of the harm of fast fashion industry. And the Vinted is a brand from Baltic states, and which is interesting that right now the Vinted is Lithuanian online marketplace for buying, selling, and exchanging the second-hand items. So as you can see, the consumer habits have changed significantly during the last years, and wearing second-hand clothes does not mean to be poor. This is buying second-hand clothes is today cool and comes with the benefits. So it's more ethical, more environmental conscious, and more budget friendly. So that would be only my intention to draw your attention that some industry is very critical from sustainability point of view, and the consumer habits and the stakeholders around the brands are very critical, and they can impact the brand activism and the brand messages as well. So thank you. There's a next slide. If you can move on. Thank you. Yeah. So I think these all sustainable development goals are well known for you. Only for the I would like to mention, because many companies are committed to achieving one or more of the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. This commitment is driven by stakeholder pressure, the market competition, and recognition that sustainability is crucial for long-term business success. And And I would like to draw your attention several other business sustainability movements. On the next slide, you can see my list. Here I listed some business movements which is related to sustainability, and I highlighted three: corporate social responsibility, create shared value, sustainable development goals, as we mentioned earlier, and ESG, which is environmental, social, governance aspect. These four approaches are directly related to the human factor of business. So when we are transforming our business model, we have to focus not only the financial aspect, but right now the social activity and the human being also can impact the business profitability. So, I would like to say some words about the CSR, because I think if we are talking about how can social marketing can be linked to brand communication, the corporate social responsibility could be a solution. So please, next slide, please. So here you can see some results. This is only about Hungary. The effect team is a large NGO, and effect team has has made a research about the company and the CSR activity. But I also I believe and I'm sure that the CSR right now worldwide is more interested in philanthropy and the value communication. So what about in Hungary, and what about the CSR? So the problem regarding the CSR, that right now the CSR, the corporate social responsibility, does not appear at the strategic level of the companies. So as you see, the CSR in the organization is related to the corporate communication. So what does it mean? Especially the CSR is responsible for branding, for employer branding, so to strengthen the community, and a little bit for reputation. So, and it is not a problem, but sometimes the greenwashing or the social washing can come from the CSR activity, because today the issue which is supported by CSR, and you can see the issues on the next slide. Yeah, so today the most common issue which is in the focus, the education, social health, natural protection. This is very, very nice and attractive problems, and of course very important problems. But right now the engagement regarding these items mostly means financial support, so donation or some money for NGOs, and volunteering activity. So the main indicators of corporate social responsibility activity do not reflect the real social impact. So we are talking about the money, the volunteering, hours, and of course it is very important. But from our perspective, that how can we modify the behavior of local community, we can't see any. How can I say? So not in the CSR focus, we can see only the company imagination about their employees and about their image, not the real effect and the real impact. And then the second approach, which is much more important, I think, and much more interesting for social marketing aspects. So please move on. The next slide. Yeah, this is the ESG approach. ESG is a new guideline and the new approach. It means that environmental, social, and governance factor have become a critical consideration for businesses, investors, and shareholders across all sectors of the economy. And the big companies all over the world, because this regulation came into force the last year. So the big companies have to submit their report about their harmful and so positive and negative impact from a lot of aspects, and these aspects are covered as an environmental, social, and governance factors. So I think the ESG right now, it depends on the company's ambitions. It could be only at the basic level when the company would like to comply the regulation, but if it is but if it is much more ambitious, and if we are talking about the profitability and the marketing and the competitiveness, these aspects could be very, very, very important. And the non-financial factor, many of which have listed here, has a real financial impact. So you can see for some examples, the tax transparency or the access to healthcare. So this is many topics which in the last were not transparent, and right now the ESG reporting system is a big step, the major step towards transparency and standardized sustainability reporting. Yeah, and you can see the social pillar is very strong in the ESG framework. And the third concept, which is also a good entry point for social marketers, you can see the next slide. This is a creating shared values approach, and this principle highlights that the value the value which is caused by the company is very interesting for stakeholders, and they also can impact the profitability on the financial revenue. Yeah, and here you can see the social needs and the business opportunities and the corporate assets. So I think this principle is also indicates that the corporate and the companies has a power, resources, and financial resources and human resources as well to solve social problems or cause social problems. And some social examples I also would like to show you regarding the social needs. So the next slide indicates the pedibus. Yeah, thank you. The pedibus activity. I think maybe some of them know this civic self-organized action, because the pedibus or food bus is right now very popular, not only in Hungary but in Switzerland, France, and some of European countries as well. The main idea is that children in the morning, especially in the morning, they work to school and the kindergarten, and of course they are in groups accompanied by adults. And this concept is also applied, it also helps this pedibus to parents during the morning rush hours. So not only about the sustainability, but about the functional needs. So this is only a very good example on how the conscious people solve their problem, the everyday problem, very, very normal way and very, very sustainability way. And the other initiation, this is typical for Hungary. So please move on. This is yeah, thank you. This is a PET bottle collection. Every year, Tisza Plastic Cup and the General Water Directorate organize the large-scale cleanup events within the borders of Hungary at different locations. They collect the plastic bottles from River Tisza. It's a very interesting, and today it's very popular, this civic self-organized civic actions. And right now we can see some brands behind this activity, but from the beginning they were simply and clearly from social needs. Yeah. And in the next slide, on the next slide, you can see this is, I think, a very interesting statistics about the trust. This is a global survey results according to the Edelman Trust Barometer. This survey conducted in nearly 30 countries. Mistrust is fundamental in society today. The Edelman Trust Barometer indicates a significant call for businesses to take responsibility for societal challenges such as climate change or misinformation and workforce development in order to rebuild and maintain the public trust, which is very interesting if you compare these 2 years tendency that the companies have moved up the ethical ladder. Governments and the media, on the other hand, are perceived as unethical and incompetent. So I think with the rise of sustainability concerns for profit corporations, the brands are being forced to reduce the negative impact of their operation on social and natural environment. And thanks to the ESG reporting mandatory system, the companies have to be transparent and standardized. So this is Edelman barometer about the civil criticism, and some examples I also would like to highlight. And the Syngenta is the first company, which is a very interesting company. The Syngenta, maybe you know this company. This is a worldwide and very strong and powerful company. They communicate in the they work in the business to business area. Please move on the next slide. Yeah, and here you can see the power of the company. So how many employees, how many countries, and the revenue also you can see. So why I would like to highlight, because the Syngenta Group, if I talking about the Syngenta Group, they also highlighted that they would like to transform the agriculture. And as you know, the agriculture and the food problem also is a very big problem for the next upcoming years. And they would like to transform their basic products and educate the farmers. No. The Edelman data reflects the worldwide, not only Hungary. Yeah, that was the question, because yeah, we decided to answer the question afterwards, but it pop up. And no, the Trust Barometer is a worldwide research results. So the Syngenta Group is not a well-known brand, because the Syngenta is a typical company which is interested in ESG transformation. So how they would like to transform whole and the full operation from ESG ambitions. And yeah, that's all. And the second company, this is a Hungarian company, but the very, very popular. This is a gambling company, and they also. So there are some companies whose advertising activities are legally restricted. And they also have to comply with a large number of regulations, such as the tobacco products or alcohol or gambling, for example. And these companies spend a lot of money for corporate social responsibility because they have to, and they would like to reflect a good and a positive image for the market. For example, the Hungarian gambling company focuses on children, and here you can see one advertise, which is highlighted. I translated the Hungarian words and the statement. So they focus. So today, I don't know, maybe that worldwide, but here in Hungary, only from 18th you can buy tickets, and you can take part in a gambling. So but what is the problem? The problem is that the age between 15 and 18, we have a population who is interested in the gambling, and they spend a lot of money. And right now, the gambling is directly connected, based on the research, to the other type of addiction. So why it is important? Because these companies spend a lot of money for corporate social responsibility, but as I mentioned, the most and the biggest KPI of CSR doesn't reflect the impact of the behavioral change. So we can see how many money, how many NGOs they supported, how many activity they fulfilled. And it's of course a very, very good gesture from the company, but the real impact we can see, and basis on the statistics, we also can see the result, or not a strong result. So when the telecom is the next. The telecom is the Hungarian telecommunication company, very, very big and powerful. This is another problem, another social issue, the digitalization and the impact of the digitalization especially for children. So, and for example, telecom figured out a content marketing activity. So this is a content marketing activity. That means they would like to sell their products, and this content is created inside. So right now the telecom as a company has own content factory inside the company, and they published a lot of articles via this platform. This platform is Hello Parents. This is a Hello Parents, and they share a lot of content about the digitalization, about the smartphone usage, in order to clarify the benefits or advantages of these tools, and of course to educate the parents. But what is the question from, I think, social marketing aspects? I think it raises the question of credibility, because the telecom has own content creation team. They write the articles for parents and educate the audience. And they think that they know everything about it. So not a social needs. Of course, this is an interactive platform, so you can ask and parents can give questions, but this is a very, very big and massive content creation techniques via a lot of channels. It's important for me that I'm not against the CSR, not against the content marketing, but only I would like to highlight this is only one pillar and one channel to reach out the audience, and I think also can be useful and can be not so, and can be harmful as well. Yeah. And the next slide, it's very, very, I think very interesting, or for me, it's very interesting. It's about from other industry. This is the hygienic paper industry. The hygienic paper market is a growing market. As you can see right now, only the 30% of population uses toilet paper. So can you imagine if more people will use? So, so this is a big amount, how they uses the resources. And I didn't list the all aspects which is critical from sustainability point of view, not only the production, the packaging as well, the raw material, because this is a paper, so we use trees, or the white color, because the white color is not white color, but the white color need the spatial chemical processes to make a raw material to white. So a lot of problems and a lot of challenges regarding the from ESG point of view. And here you can see some pictures. This is a Hungarian brand, the Piszke paper, not easy to pronounce. In the upper left corner, you can see the sustainable solution from this Hungarian manufacturer. So they go into the market with brown paper. So this is a sustainable paper, folded version, not roll, and in the sustainable paper packaging in a box. And right now, only one, and not a network supermarket, only one shop brand. You can buy this toilet paper. So the problem is that under the pressure from buyers, manufacturers sought ways to incorporate more air into the paper. So if you can see the roll and the folded version, so if we use roll, we uses more air, and the more air means the more logistics needs, and so etc. So the problem is that sometimes the consumer believes also against the sustainability solution, because based on the research, the consumers want to see the paper, the toilet paper, when they choose in the supermarket. That's the reason why the buyers don't prefer the paperback packaging. And the other problem is that they would like the consumer prefer also the so the folia packaging, so the plastic packaging, because they would like to see the roll. Yes. Yeah, and what else? Here you can see the Tseva solution, and the Tseva solution is also a little bit, how can I say, not greenwashing, but a little bit misleading information about it, because if you can throw out the roll, it doesn't mean anything. So this is only a magic. So not you don't solve the basic problem regarding the toilet paper and the environment to be environmentally friendly. So that's, I think it's very interesting when one manufacturer try to solve and try to go into the market with a sustainability solution, but the consumer believes or a buyer's habit doesn't allow. Right now, what is the good news? That is, as a result of the regulation, for example, in Germany. So in Germany, we can see a very good example from regulation point of view, because right now this is a new tendency that manufacturers have to increase the paper inside the packaging and reduce the amount of packaging as well. And for example, Lidl's, this is a new requirements from Lidl. They need the life cycle analysis of this hygienic paper, but it's very I think very confusing how to act and what produce. Yeah, okay, and the next slide, please. And okay, this is a very interesting two examples when inclusive brand Bud Light and Jaguar made a bad decision and loses market share because its target audience cannot identify with the main messages of the advertisement. So the day topic is very hot topic, and they would like to satisfy this needs, but unfortunately the target group of the brand couldn't accept these messages, and they have to withdraw these advertisements. And only one aspect of the branding, and then this is the next slide. This I would like to highlight two Veja and Munch. Veja is a multinational company. Munch is a Hungarian startup. The Veja is interesting because if you know this sneakers brand, the manufacturing process is sustainable, but they decided that the brands don't communicate how they produce their products. So, and based on the analysis and the research, the most of their customers don't know that these sneakers come from the sustainable manufacturing. So why it is important? Because when we are talking about the branding, some brands choose to highlight the sustainability, and some really sustainable brands or sustainability or operation doesn't want to highlight in brand communication. So right now it's a little bit confusing, this situation, but I think it's a very interesting decision that they produce sustainability, but the marketing communication and branding don't reflect and don't say anything about this production process. Munch is interesting because the Munch is similar to the Vinted company. So right now, there are some new emerging companies, especially startups, and they come from the sustainable idea. So the whole process and the whole business purpose is related to a social problem. Munch is interested in the reduction of food waste, and they sell the food which is healthy and everything is okay with them, but they are, for example, the rest of the restaurants. So and they use this food. So I would like to I wanted to say some examples, and the next slide summarize how brands can reflect the sustainability. Right now, we can see three tendencies: this greenwashing, or social washing, greenwashing, or sustainable brands. As I mentioned, right now brands have to face the social cynicism and this connection of storytelling. So there is a gap between corporate messages and consumer stories, and sometimes the operations. So I think in the future, it will be a commercial decision how they integrate their sustainable operation into the brand communication. Because right now the branding and the sustainable operations sometimes not only in parallel way they run. Yeah, greenwashing means that they completely doesn't speak anything about the ESG information. So this is a zero communication. Yeah, and the last point, I think, which is very important from social marketing, because I would like to link this information, the purpose. About purpose, I also wanted to say some figures. So please go the next slide. Yeah, thank you. So here you can see also the worldwide research results. This is a CEO report by BrandPie. And why it is important? It is important because people go into the business world because they think they can make a difference, they can provide value to the marketplace, and live according to their values. Purpose-driven companies based on the statistics have better outcomes, and they are much more resilient. And the purpose is a core strategy, a core message why they are in the market. What is the main reason why they produce something? So, and I think the impact transparency, which is right now today is mandatory, can actually reshape the capitalism, because the success, not only the profit or the net revenue, but reflects the value which is contributed by the companies or by the brand. So here you can see this very nice and attractive figures, how the sales think about purpose, because right now the climate change is a real business risk for companies. And I think I have only one slide, I think, needed. Yes. Okay. Just a second. So here you can see that the main stakeholders based on the purpose survey and employees as customers, so the civic, the conscious civic also can be influenced the revenue, and as I mentioned, the non-financial factors can impact the revenue as well. So, and I have summarized chart or slide at the end. I try to summarize how social marketers can turn to the companies, and how brand or company can integrate the social marketing as expected. So as I mentioned, that the companies are developing and implementing the ESG or sustainability strategy. It is have to. It's have to. Their first question is why. This is, and why, this question why is similar to the question regarding the purpose. So and I think the social issue, which is important for operation, can be important for society, or not can be, should be important for society. So the social, if corporate marketers or the companies listen to the audience, and watches what's happening around them, because right now the companies work among the stakeholders, and they have to follow the local communities and the big communities as well. And as I mentioned, the ESG ambition, it could be only the basic steps, but I think, and as maybe the statistics also shows, the companies have to make a balance between short-term performance requirements and the investments. Right now and today, to be sustainable is investments needed and expensive. But every stakeholder research illustrate that in the future it could be a main differentiator, this purpose and the long-term sustainability impact as well. I hope that I can explain what I would like to say, and I realized some questions, so please help me or say what is interesting, and thank you for your attention, and thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Fabiola. That's really, really interesting. I've got a number of questions that I'd like to ask you, but any other people on the call want to kind of pose the question, please do so. Excuse me. Karis, I think you've just posted an interesting question. Would you like to kind of pose that to Fabiola?
Sure. No, I was just wondering, you know, given everything you were just talking about in terms of the shifts, even including in who people trust, the rise of, consumer, social or corporate social responsibility, what is our role? We're not inside those corporations, in encouraging companies to move in the direction that, might really be beneficial from a social perspective. Or is it really that we just need to, it's evolving on its own. We're not controlling that, and we can encourage or observe things and respond when it does happen. I'm just trying to figure out what's my role, or what do I do with the information, which I think is brilliant.
Right now inside the company, the ESG, so right now the reporting is mandatory only for the biggest companies, and afterwards maybe the enterprises as well, the medium and the enterprises as well have to make this report. But right now, as I can see, inside the companies, the ESG is a separate organization, separate and different from the brand communication. So in the future, they have to harmonize their messages and their act, because the sustainability operations will be reflected in a report. And as you, as a buyer and as a consumer, you also can follow and for example, right now, for customers, the most important information is the packaging. So every information which is in the label is interesting. So when the consumer read it, but right now the sustainability doesn't mean the same for every people. So I think that's a big chance for the companies not to transform so quickly, and I think first the company will change the operation and the system because of the stock market. So that was the first point when they will measure. So how the investors react for something. And for example, if you can remember the Volkswagen issue in several years ago, I think that was a very, very interesting attack, and not. I'm not sure that not from the competitors come this information, because every car manufacturer has the spatial and the same. I think the same problem. So I think the investors and the competitive market can be the first who will indicate or draw attention. Hey guys, what do you do? But I think the consumer also can, because as you can see, here in Hungary, the NGOs are very, very weak. So the civil initiatives are not so motivated. It depends on the political environment as well, so I don't want to go into the details. But we also can see that the new generation and the conscious residents, they want to hear and want to say something, and they want to hear their noise. Can you understand why noise? I think it's very noisy, this market today. So everybody says something, and a lot of channels we have, the social media channels and platforms. So
It seems very complicated to me. And yeah, I'm just wondering what the role of someone who's doing social marketing is. Is it to motivate these citizen groups to maybe get noticed, or so that the corporations will take on a particular kind of social responsibility issue? Or, I'm just thinking. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think, there seems to be support theoretically from at least CEOs for purpose-driven organization, but it would seem to me that a company can't do this on their own in isolation if they want to tackle some of these big issues. So that means that they have to work with other people, NGOs, government, and other organizations. So is that part of the role of social marketing, to encourage these kind of coalitions and for companies to start working with and supporting people like community groups and others who are kind of already trying to tackle some of these issues? Is it a kind of partnership that, should we be promoting, to these companies that they're working in partnership with others?
Yeah, I think the good news is the companies are interested in a social issue. They would like to be engaged. So, and that was the reason why I listed some examples for CSR, for content marketing. So they really want to make an impact. And I think the social marketers, you can suggest how. But right now, what I can see that NGOs also can't see how they can get money, because the CSR is completely not for social marketing, because the CSR right now only the HR, the employer branding and volunteering. But if we go from the ESG aspect, from the sustainability, I can say that here you are the telecommunication companies, you have a lot of issue, for example, digital literacy, or the small phones among the children. So every company, based on the products or based on the operation, create a lot of issue. And these issues right now will be reflected in the ESG reporting. And I think the social marketers, you also identify issue. So I think what is necessary to identify the issue which is social relevant, and you have a community which is interested in this, so really problem for them. And maybe this issue is really connected with one company, or with not only one, some companies or some brands. And that could be a good bridge between the company and the social marketers. Of course, not every company can see right now the difference between the CSR and the real social impact. So it is very easy to be green, to act as a greenwashing activity. But for example, the business-to-business companies, as I mentioned, the Syngenta, they would like to be in this market, and that's mean the agriculture they have to transform.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes the industrial market is closer to the sustainability goals, because the business-to-business market products life cycle of these products much more longer. So not only for 2 or 4 years, but maybe the 20 or 40 years they produces.
Yeah. Okay. Dave, I'm aware that you've asked a kind of question.
Yeah, we've had it come in via the Q&A box, asking about how essential it is from a business perspective to be involved in civic action groups, and trying to look at the balance between benefits that they actually get by being involved versus what they miss out on by not being involved. Essentially, whether it's a tick box activity or if it's something that truly does add value to these businesses, particularly in the profit-driven industries.
How essential do you think? Essential, I think. Essential. So that's the reason why I would like to make a link: the social needs, the brand purpose, and the ESG challenges. So, for example, this Hungarian manufacturer of the toilet papers, the hygienic papers, it's very interesting. They are very pioneering. So they produce something, and right now the product for this product, no interest in the market. So they have to educate or raise awareness that why it is the most useful solution. So it's very complex what we can do. The consumer beliefs and several levels of consumer knowledge of something. So yeah, the civic action is very important, I think.
Okay.
Actions and the civil initiatives. So yeah.
What I'm conscious of is time now, Fabiola. We've kind of gone to our hour, so I just want to say a huge thank you to you for your presentation. We'll make the recording and the PowerPoint slides available via the iSMA website. So if anybody wants to kind of take a second look, which I certainly do, at the presentation and the recording, people will be able to do that. I just for background, I just come back from a meeting in New York with the General Assembly of the UN has been working this week looking at how companies can make a contribution to tackling some of the big social, cultural, as well as economic issues around the world. And you know, the people that I spoke to there and met with from a wide range of commercial for-profit companies was that they do embrace the idea of purpose, but what they need is help and assistance to actually operationalize that in a way that doesn't detract from their profit making, which they need to do to survive, and that's legally what they're required to do, but also adds some social value as well. So it's not just commercial activity equals profit, it's also commercial activity equals profit plus a better world. I'm sure we have a long way to go on this, for sure, but it's been really interesting today. Thank you so much for your contribution, Fabiola. So I'm going to call this AGM to a close now. Thanks for everybody that participated. Again, huge thanks to all the people who sit on the iSMA board and support its actions. I think we've got some great work that we can be very proud of over the last year, but we have some big challenges coming up in the year, as well as all the ongoing complex, messy, challenging issues that we all face in our everyday lives. But if we work together, we can probably tackle those a bit better. If you're not a member of iSMA or a local association, please join us and become part of an active community pushing forward social marketing, because it helps to create a better world for everybody. So thanks for your time today, and thanks to everybody who made a presentation. Thanks also to Dave for making sure that it all technically worked as well. We really appreciate it. We would think the recording, the AGM report and the PowerPoint slides should be up by Monday next week, if you're interested to look at those. Again, thanks so much, everybody, and I'll call the meeting to an end.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day.